Mongolia is one of the last great frontiers of this planet. Roughly the size of Western Europe, it only has a population of about 3.5 million people, and the majority of those are in its capital, Ulaanbaatar. When you get out of the city, you just have space, and I mean real big sky country space. The country is split into sort of three main geographical strands. In the north, you have the mountains leading to the Russian border. In the middle, you have the great swathes of the grass steppe and the steppe lands where the horses roam. And in the south, you have the barren Gobi Desert. There is so much to explore in this enormous country, but you just have to be aware of the distances, especially when planning an itinerary. One of our most popular trips there is actually in the 8 lakes region known as the Naadam region, and we go horse riding with a local nomadic family, which is run by a matriarchal woman who I've become very good friends with. You don't have to be a particularly competent rider to join this adventure. Riding horses is what Mongolia is all about, and actually we even bring beginner riders on these trips because the Mongolian ponies are shorter than normal horses, you're closer to the ground, and we have wonderful local horsemen who really look after them. A local family runs these trips for us through mountains, through forests, around these beautiful 8 lakes in this region, through the grassland as well. And so we stay at each ger, which is the local Mongolian name for the yurt camps, stay with the local people, eat their food, talk with them, and it's just a fantastic way to get back to nature and, you know, escape all of the trappings of essentially the modern world. There's so much to do in the various different regions. A very popular trip for us takes place in September, where from Ulaanbaatar we fly out west to the Altai region, again close to the Russian border. We fly into Ulgi, and from there we go up into the Altai National Park, where it's got huge, beautiful glaciers in the snow-capped mountains. And then we go down and stay with a local Kazakh community. Long time ago, they came over the border, integrated themselves into the Mongolian culture. They speak Mongolian, but their heritage is actually from Kazakhstan. So these Kazakh Mongols brought with them the ancient nomadic art of eagle hunting. Now this is absolutely fantastic to see. You can't train a grown eagle, they're just wild, and how are you going to catch them anyway? So these Kazakh Mongol nomads climb up to the highest mountains and will take an eagle chick out of the nest, bring it home, and train this young eagle chick from essentially birth, or it's only when it's a couple of months old. And they train it to sit on its arm and then hunt small rodents, gophers and the like. It takes a village to put up a ger, they say. It's made with lots of strands of wood. Everyone gets around. You lift up the roof and you get to roll the felt around. And it's just so fun to be in part of this ancient culture, really. If you travel to the north, you get something which is even more unique, and that is to spend time with the rare Sa'an tribe. And they are the reindeer herders of the north. They don't live in gers, they live in teepees, and because horses are scarce in this very cold northern region, they've actually cultivated the reindeer herds and tamed them to the point where they actually ride large male reindeer with huge antlers, and it's absolutely incredible. And you yourself can actually come and experience riding these reindeers as well. In the south, we do photographic trips down into the Gobi Desert. You can camp out. It's some of the most incredible stargazing you will ever see, with the great Milky Way sprawling overhead, and really get time to talk to your guides to sort of understand the Mongolian heritage. When you get out into the countryside, the local men won't wear tracksuit bottoms and trainers or a suit. They'll wear a deal, which is the traditional robe worn by all Mongolians. Keeps you very warm in the winter and cool in the summer. They're beautifully woven, almost like a Japanese kimono, but heavier. They'll be tied around the middle with a beautiful sash, often of silk or in bright colors of yellow or orange. And they're very long, so when they're riding their horses, it will keep their legs warm as well. It's just such a lovely, local, colorful outfit. Another fantastic event that we go and visit is the Naadam Festival, which takes place in July. Now, Naadam stretches back all the way to the 12th century and probably the most famous Mongol in the world, Genghis Khan. The Naadam actually means, in Mongolian, the 3 games of men. He wanted his armies and his men to be strong, and so the 3 games of men consist of horse racing, archery, and wrestling. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the Naadam Festival. We don't actually choose to watch it in Ulaanbaatar, where there's big parades, and it's wonderful, but it happens in a football stadium and you're surrounded by buildings. We actually go up to the north to Lake Kovskol, and again we choose to do the festival with a local community there. Yes, it's smaller, but you're more involved and you get to pat the people on the back after they've won or lost. You can ride horses yourselves, you can have a go at archery. We always sort of tend to do the trips where we can be more involved with people. The first time I traveled to Mongolia, I went by myself and I specifically asked for a guide who didn't speak English. And I did this recce through the Nur region. I think it took about 8 days with Batar, a local guide who still works there. He doesn't speak good English, but he will work with our local professional Mongolian guides who do speak excellent English. And I just wanted to travel with him. I just wanted to slow life down and be in nature. And because we couldn't communicate very well, he would just sing. So we'd be traveling on our horses, and I just remember we were walking up through a forest and snow was falling, and Batar was up ahead of me on his horse, and he was singing to me his ancient nomadic Mongolian songs. And sometimes you do have to travel to the farthest places of the world to get back to that original feeling of being at one with nature, and that is something that Mongolia undoubtedly offers.